Hello, everyone, and welcome to General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital recap for Wednesday, February 25th, reveals that Emma Scorpio Drake came home with some information regarding Anna Devane, while Carly Spencer had news for Valentine Cassadine about a bump in the road. In Carly's attic, she told Valentine there was a complication with their plan now that Lucas Jones knew Marco Rios was involved in Jen Sidwell's dirty business. Lucas didn't want Carly anywhere near Sidwell, so snooping at Windermere would be difficult. Carly wanted to tell Lucas the full story, but Valentine feared that Lucas would also tell Marco, who would blab to Sidwell. Valentine asked Carly to at least give him a warning if she decided to come clean to Lucas, since it would give him a chance to run. In the end, Carly decided they'd stick to their plan and hoped they could save both Jocelyn Jacks and Lucas. At Brown Dog Bar, Cody Bell met up with Molly Lansing Davis and admitted to finishing her book, which he loved once he got to the end. Cody admitted Christina Corinthos Davis convinced him to finish the novel by spilling Molly wasn't going to publish it to protect his feelings. Cody insisted that'd be a shame and acted like the world needed this book. After Cody impressed Molly by talking about the novel's motifs, he also confessed to reading Pride and Prejudice with a ladies' book club. Cody suggested Molly's novel as another pick for the book club and got a kiss from her when he stood up to leave. At Anna's apartment, Sonny Corinthos' dog, Fizz, was staying the night with Giovanni Gio Palmieri, who was close to booking a flight to California when Emma suddenly walked through the door. Emma asked Gio to hold her and talked about the pain of telling her family what had happened to Anna. When Emma and Robin Scorpio Drake tried to see Anna at her clinic in France, they weren't allowed since it could make her mental state worse. Emma did admit to observing Anna from afar in the garden and thought she looked peaceful. Gio was willing to move to California if Emma needed to go back there to support her mom, but Emma had come home at Robin's urging. As Emma and Gio discussed how important they were to each other, they professed their love and got passionate in the bedroom. At GH, Dante Falconeri sought Elizabeth Baldwin out to quiz her about when Willow Kane lived with her. Liz faced questions about Michael Corinthos' visit at her house, so she wondered if Dante was looking for evidence against Willow, Michael, or both. Dante felt the need to resolve this case, but Elizabeth suggested he might have to accept never knowing the truth. Liz gave Dante a pep talk and playfully urged him to let it go when he insisted on repaying the favor. Dante decided he wasn't sure he wanted to do that as he grinned to himself over his chat with Elizabeth, so it seemed like perhaps a crush was forming. As for Lucas Jones, he met with Ava at the hospital and warned her to stay away from Sidwell before she got in any deeper. Ava protested since Sidwell made her a lot of money as a client, but Lucas feared for her safety. Ava assumed Carly Spencer finally got to Lucas and assured him that she could take care of herself. Since Ava was enjoying getting to know Sidwell and Lucas didn't offer any specifics regarding the danger, she stood her ground. At the Quartermaine mansion, Harrison Chase fumed over Brooklyn Quartermaine, pushing him to choose between seeking justice and the adoption. However, Brooklyn suggested Chase's vendetta against Michael Corinthos had taken precedence over everything. Since Brooklyn wanted them to focus on what would matter years from now and for the rest of their lives, Chase seemed to see her point. Chase was glad Brooklyn was willing to have the hard conversations and assured his wife that nothing would stop them from adopting a baby together. At the harbor master's cabin, Jason Morgan secretly met up with Britt Westbourne and said Ross Cullum was onto them. After Jason talked about Cullum grilling him about Britt, she told Jason about Cullum pushing her to deliver a working prototype. If Britt didn't deliver, she insisted she was a dead woman. Britt planned to stall on the fabrication process and give Lucas a chance to steal a medication dose since he offered to. Jason was uneasy about the risk Lucas was taking, but he knew they could use his help. That said, if Lucas couldn't pull it off, Jason assured Britt that they'd figure something else out. Jason planned to keep Britt alive and promised he wouldn't leave her again, so they fell into a warm embrace. General Hospital spoilers say Britt and Jason still have some devastating challenges ahead of them, so don't miss what's in store. The day at General Hospital was a storm of secrets, schemes, and heart-stirring moments, as everyone seemed to be navigating the fine line between loyalty, love, and danger. It all started with Emma Scorpio Drake arriving home with news that weighed heavily on her heart. The shadow of concern for her mother Anna Devane, loomed over her. Emma had tried to visit Anna in France with Robin Scorpio Drake, but they were denied entry, officially, to protect Anna's fragile state. Still, Emma had found a way to watch over her mother from a distance, catching glimpses of Anna in the clinic's serene garden. There was a bittersweet peace in seeing Anna like that, but Emma knew it couldn't replace being there, holding her, supporting her. Meanwhile, at Carly Spencer's attic, tension crackled like static electricity. Carly was locked in a quiet battle with Valentine Cassadine, navigating a dangerous complication. Lucas Jones had discovered that Marco Rios was entangled in Jen Sidwell's dirty dealings. Carly knew Lucas would never allow her near Sidwell, which made snooping at Windermere risky, almost impossible. Carly wanted to come clean to Lucas, to tell him everything, but Valentine's fear was sharper. If Lucas knew, Marco would inevitably find out, and Sidwell would be the first to know. Valentine pleaded with Carly. If she ever decided to reveal the truth, at least give him a warning so he could escape before the web closed in. After a tense silence, Carly made her decision. They would stick to the plan, for now, holding on to the hope that they could save both Jocelyn Jacks and Lucas from danger. Across town, at Brown Dog Bar, a very different kind of connection was unfolding. Cody Bell met Molly Lansing Davis, and the energy between them was warm, light, and unexpectedly romantic. Cody admitted that he had finally finished reading Molly's book, and he loved it. Surprisingly, it was Christina Corinthos Davis who had nudged him to complete it, revealing that Molly hadn't published it yet to spare him from embarrassment. Cody was stunned by the injustice. The world, he insisted, needed this book. Their conversation turned playful and heartfelt as Cody discussed the novel's deeper themes, surprising Molly with his insight. Then, confessing to his participation in a ladies' book club where he read Pride and Prejudice, Cody suggested Molly's book for the next selection, and it worked. The moment ended with a sweet, lingering kiss before he left, leaving behind an unmistakable spark. But the day's tension quickly returned as Emma's story wove back in at Anna's apartment. Giovanni Gio Palmieri was on the verge of leaving for California, ready to support Emma if she needed to return to be with her mother. But Emma had come home instead, following Robin's urging. The reunion was charged with emotion. Emma, carrying the weight of fear, relief, and love, asked Gio to hold her close. Together, they shared the burden of what they had witnessed and what they were about to face. Words of devotion melted into a passionate embrace, and their connection, raw, urgent, and tender, blazed to life in the bedroom, a reminder that love often finds its way, even through chaos. At General Hospital, questions and mysteries were mounting. Dante Falconeri sought out Elizabeth Baldwin, pressing for details about when Willow Kane had lived with her. Elizabeth, cautious and protective, wondered if Dante was fishing for evidence against Willow, Michael Corinthos, or both. Dante's need for answers was palpable, but Elizabeth gently suggested some truths might remain forever out of reach. Her pep talk, laced with playful encouragement, challenged Dante to let go, and in that exchange, an undeniable spark of attraction began to flicker between them. Dante couldn't help but grin, a hint that something more than curiosity was forming. Meanwhile, Lucas Jones was working to protect Ava from the dangers tied to Sidwell. Meeting her at the hospital, he warned her to step back before the risks became too real. Ava, ever independent and confident, pushed back, insisting she could handle herself, and the financial rewards Sidwell offered were too tempting to ignore. Lucas feared for her safety, but Ava was determined, undeterred by vague warnings, confident that she could navigate the perilous waters herself. At the Quartermain mansion, a different kind of emotional crossroads emerged. Harrison Chase wrestled with Brooke Lynn Quartermain, torn between his desire for justice and their dream of adopting a child. Brooke Lynn called out Chase's obsession with past vendettas, reminding him that the future and the family they were building together was far more important. The conversation was raw, honest, and grounding, and for the first time in a while, Chase saw her perspective. In a moment of clarity and commitment, he assured Brooke Lynn nothing would stop them from creating the family they both longed for, grounding their love and shared vision in certainty. But danger lingered, as it always does at the harbor master's cabin. Jason Morgan met secretly with Britt Westbourne, the tension between them as thick as the shadows around them. Ross Cullum was closing in, demanding results from Britt, and threatening her life if she failed to deliver a working prototype. They crafted a careful plan. Britt would stall, and Lucas would attempt to steal the medication dose Jason needed. The risk was monumental, and Jason's worry was evident, but they knew it was necessary. Promises were made in hushed tones, fear intertwined with unwavering determination. In the end, Jason reassured Britt that he would never leave her again, wrapping her in a warm embrace, a fleeting moment of safety and intimacy amid looming danger. As the day drew to a close, the threads of love, loyalty, and peril wove tightly together. From Emma and Joe's passionate reunion to Dante and Elizabeth's playful tension, from Carly and Valentine's high-stakes plotting to Lucas and Ava's unresolved standoff, and from Chase and Brooke Lynn's life-affirming decisions to Jason and Britt's survival strategy. General Hospital reminded us that every choice carries weight, every emotion burns brightly, and every connection matters, whether it brings hope, heartbreak, or a chance at redemption. The storm is far from over. Secrets will unravel, alliances will be tested, and love will face its most dangerous trials yet. And one thing is certain, at General Hospital, nothing is ever simple, and every moment matters. As the night deepened, secrets continued to simmer, and the weight of choices grew heavier across Port Charles. At Windmere, the stakes were quietly escalating. Carly and Valentine's plan, though still intact, teetered on a knife's edge. Every glance, every word, carried the possibility of exposure. Carly's mind raced with doubts. Was holding back from Lucas the right move? Yet Valentine's insistence that warning him first could save him lingered like a shadow. They clung to the hope that their careful navigation would protect Jocelyn Jacks, safeguard Lucas, and prevent Marco Rios or Sidwell from gaining the upper hand. But in a world like theirs, hope was always fragile. Meanwhile, at the hospital, tension flared in the quietest of moments. Lucas's warnings to Ava hung between them like a storm cloud. Ava's defiance was striking, not reckless, but purposeful. Sidwell had brought her success, and Ava had tasted independence in a way that was intoxicating. Lucas, ever protective, worried that without understanding the danger's depth, she could walk straight into a trap. Their eyes met, filled with unspoken conflict, concern versus confidence, fear versus courage. It was a delicate dance, and one misstep could shatter everything. Across town, at Anna's apartment, the emotional weight pressed down on Emma and Gio. Gio had offered California as an escape, as a place to regroup and support Emma, but she had returned home instead. There was courage in that choice, but also a vulnerability that left her raw. As Gio held her, the quiet intensity of their love became a lifeline. Every whispered word, every gentle touch, spoke of devotion and shared burdens. Their passion, ignited by fear and relief, became more than desire. It was a promise that whatever storms lay ahead, they would face them together. In the midst of chaos, Dante Falconeri and Elizabeth Baldwin found a surprising warmth. Their conversation, initially about Willow Kane and Michael Corinthos, drifted into laughter, teasing, and quiet confessions. Dante's persistent curiosity collided with Elizabeth's playful insistence that some truths might never come. And in that collision, a spark ignited, a mixture of mutual respect, intrigue, and an unspoken attraction that neither could ignore. It was a moment of emotional levity amid a city heavy with secrets, but one that hinted at deeper connections to come. Meanwhile, Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn faced a different kind of storm, one born not of danger, but of responsibility. The adoption weighed on them like a scale, tipping precariously between past vendettas and the future they wanted to build together. Brooke Lynn's words cut through Chase's obsession with vengeance, guiding him to see what truly mattered. In her clarity, he found grounding. In her patience, he found hope. Their promise to each other, that nothing would block their path to parenthood, was more than love. It was determination, resilience, and a vision of a life worth fighting for. Yet danger loomed relentlessly at the Harbormaster's cabin, where Jason Morgan and Britt Westbourne navigated a lethal game of strategy and survival. Ross Cullum's threats were real, immediate, and deadly. Britt's forced compliance, Jason's careful planning, and Lucas's risky involvement created a perfect storm. fear and love entwined as they worked to outmaneuver Cullum. Their alliance, an unbreakable thread woven from necessity and trust. In their shared embrace, the world outside faded. The danger remained. But for a fleeting moment, they had each other, and that was enough. Even the smallest moments of normalcy were charged with emotion. At Brown Dog Bar, Cody Bell and Molly Lansing Davis carried a spark that was genuine and tender. Cody's admiration for Molly's work, combined with his playful charm and vulnerability, brought a sense of hopefulness to the day. Their kiss was not just romantic. It was a quiet victory against the storm, a reminder that even in the darkest times, connection and understanding could flourish. Back at Windermere, the tension between duty and desire, between secrecy and truth, was reaching a breaking point. Carly and Valentine's careful calculations could not erase the fear that the next wrong move could unravel everything. Lucas remained a wild card. Sidwell's reach extended further than they could predict, and Marco Rios hovered in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity. Every plan had its cracks, every alliance its vulnerabilities, and the ticking clock of danger added weight to every decision. By night's end, the city of Port Charles was a tapestry of emotion, love, fear, longing, and resilience, all interwoven in complex patterns. From Emma and Joe's impassioned reunion to Dante and Elizabeth's budding connection, from Carly and Valentine's delicate plotting to Lucas and Ava's unresolved standoff, and from Chase and Brooklyn's life-defining decisions to Jason and Britt's perilous game of survival. Every character was dancing on the edge of chaos. And as always, in a place like General Hospital, the calm is only temporary. Storms are coming, alliances will fracture, hearts will be tested, and secrets will demand exposure. Yet through it all, hope, love, and courage continue to shine, reminding us why we watch, why we care, and why every heartbeat matters.